that's what we are going to see in today's lecture also. So this is a program which illustrates how the elements of a 2D array are scanned and means how they are inputted and how they are outputted. So one important thing which you can observe here is we need to take help of two loops, whereas we'll be having a matrix in this way. So we'll be having two dimensions. One dimension is the row dimension and another dimension is the column dimension. So every element will be identified with a row number and a column number. So every element is going to have two indices, I and j. I relates to row and j relates to column. So these two dimensions, for that purpose only, we have two for loops. One will be for row, and for each row we have all the columns. So for each occurrence of I, we are going to have all the occurrences of j. Similarly, in the printf also, we are going to have the same thing, that is the two for loops. So in this simple way, it can be entered. So this is going to take six elements, and like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it is going to print the array in this way. So these are the two things which I just want to recall. And will now today we are going to have we'll discuss few programs, four programs rather, illustrating 1D array and 2D array. So I'll share another screen. So can you see an online compiler?
Yes, sir.
So we'll just write few programs there, and we will try to execute them. So you'll get an actual glimpse how the programs are working. Maybe few of you are very comfortable with this, but few of your friends are finding it little complicated to deal with these kind of things. That's why I planned today that okay, we'll go exclusively for programs. Okay. So those who are really comfortable can also take an initiative and explain the programs which are displayed here, and can explain the expected output and how the outputs are can come. So can I make this forum open? Any one of you wishes to explain this program? This program is to find out largest number from an array. That array size also we are going to enter. So is any one of you interested? Those who are comfortable with program? Uh, am I audible?
Yes,
Gentlemen,
some of the students not able to hear you.
that means problem is not from my side. Most of you are able to hear me. Am I right, Om? Are you able to clearly hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Those who are finding any problem, please leave and rejoin. Ishant, you are facing a lot of problem. Uh, so those who are facing problem, please uh, leave the meeting and rejoin. Probably that will solve the problem. Or change your headphone or earphone. So Ishant, you also. Yes, Ishant, the problem is from. So can any one of you take an initiative to explain the program? No one.
Yes, sir.
Palash, you wish to go for it?
Yes.
So go ahead, no issue. Just now, next will be Palash, who will be explaining the program. Please try to listen, and if you are facing any doubt, raise them so that everyone will get the things clear. Okay, go ahead, Palash.
So as the line 3, it is a comment line. It is written program to find largest number in an array. So first of all, we have included stdio header file and then main function in the line 5th. And we have declared integer I, n. Then we have declared array of data type float, and the size of array is of 100 elements. The maximum elements that array can occupy is of 100. So in line 8, we have just asked enter the number of elements from 1 to 100. So this is the size of the array which we want. So in the line 9th, that the number we will enter will scan and uh, get assigned to the integer n. And then we can see in line 11 for loop. For loop will run
Yes, Palash. क्या हुआ?
hello sir
हाँ,
sir
क्या हुआ?
my
सुनाई दे
voice
रहा
is
हो?
audible. Hello.
Yeah, properly audible. Go ahead, go ahead.
So in line 11 there is a for loop. There we have to enter
Excuse me,
the
सर वो फ्लोट एरे को डिफाइन किया सर, इंट एरे भी तो डिफाइन कर सकते हैं.
Palash, Ashwin is raising some questions.
yes
Sir?
Ashwin, we can yes we can also define int array. There is no problem in defining float and int, but basically float contains the floating point, that is decimal numbers. If we want any number, suppose you want to write 7.3 for example, if we would have declared int array, then it is not possible.
But we have defined n is equals to n is integer, so float it will be appropriate for int array only.
Palash, there is question D in scanner.
Ashwin, see the data type of array and n, they both are different, and the n determines the number of elements in our array. But suppose you have declared the number of elements to be 5 of that array, and your inputs are 3, 6, 9.2, 10, 16. Okay, so here we can see sorry, 9.3, you have entered 9.3. So this is the floating number. If you would have defined int array, then it is not possible. So in float array you can define both integer as well as decimal point value. The advantage of float array is this. Hello Ashwin.
Yes,
Actually,
you're.
yes, but actually I was saying that we have defined n is equals to integer, so how can we input the value integer in float only? Like how can we decimal
They-
numbers in float? Sorry, decimal
Okay,
numbers
okay.
in percent d.
Decimal. Ashwin, they both are different. See, number of array will be a whole number. It will not be a decimal number.
Size of the array. Size of the
Size
array.
of array. Yes, size of array will be a whole number. It will not be any decimal number, right? So that's why we have defined n to be integer, not a float. And the elements of array, they can be integer as well as decimal. So that's why we have defined data type of array float.
That means Ashwin.
Yes, sir.
Ashwin, array can hold n float elements. Are you understanding? It can say 1 to 100. If I am entering, say, array size as n as 10, then array will hold 10 float elements. So n is the size of array, and array I, this one, array I is the element inside the array. Okay, so that will be float, and size will always be an integer number.
Okay, sir.
Fine. And someone asked, I don't remember who was that. Someone asked that you are using %d here. Am I right? So someone had that issue. So it is I plus 1. I mean, it is just saying that enter number 1, and actual member is entered in this line, in the scanf line. Okay, in printf line %d likha hua hai, but it will be the location at which I am entering the element. Okay. Yes, Palash, you can continue.
So I will continue from line 11. So in line 11, there is a for loop, and it's basically for our input. We have earlier we have defined the size of our array. Now we have to input the elements in that array. So for I equals to 0, I is less than n plus plus I. So this loop will run from 0 to less than the size of array which we have defined. Then in line 12, printf enter number %d. So you can see the array which we have defined, the for loop is starting from 0. But if we would not return %d and I plus 1, it will show 0, enter number 0. So %d I plus 1 just gives us a basic clarity that enter number 1, 2, 3, 4 up till the size of our array. Then it will scan our input in line 13, scanf %f. As the array data type is float, that's why we have written %f, and after %f and arr in bracket I. So it basically scans our input and store in that array. So our array is now we have defined our array with some elements. Then we have to compare. This is the number. Then we have to compare the elements of array, which is the largest. So in line 17, again we run a loop from I equals to 1, I is less than n plus plus I. In this loop, we basically compare two elements of our array. The starting two. Suppose ARR2 is less than ARR1. So the value of ARRI will get to ARR0, and this loop will run less than our size of the array. Then in line 22, the largest element that will get printed. So the second for loop is basically will shift the largest element to the first place. Sir, that's it.
Yeah. So this program is about finding the largest number of an array. I am happy that Palash has understood the program and tried really well to make everyone else understand. I'll go in my way. So we are trying to find out the largest element in an array. For that, we are defining an array of float. Okay. So the elements in this array will be of type float. We can have integer array, we can have character array, we can have any of the array. But as we are talking about the largest number, in this case, we have only left with only two options. Either we'll go for an integer array or we'll go for a float array. Float will be more dynamic because it can also compare 9.1 and 9.3. So even though the integer value 9, but if I'm taking 9.1 and 9.3, definitely both the values are comparable. So I'm taking two. We are taking a float array, and integer I is a counter we are using, and n will represent the size of an array. I'm declaring an array of 100, but not every time I'm going to enter all 100 elements. This says that at the max you can enter 100 elements. Palash, you can please switch off your mic. So at the max 100 elements it can take, but not every time we are going to take 100 elements. Okay. So let us first find out the see the output. How the output will be. It will ask enter the elements of an element from 1 to 100. So here is the statement, which is a prayer. So it is prompting us to enter the number of elements, means size of an array. So let us say that I am entering 5. So it is possible to enter 5 in this case. Okay. So n will be 5 now. By mistake, I have changed this to 5. So there was a printf statement. So now n becomes 5. It enters in the for loop. It enters in the for loop and print a message. So in the for loop, the first iteration will be I equal to 0. With I equal to 0, it will print this message. So enter number. What number? I plus 1. As I is equal to 0, I plus 1 is done. So I becomes 1 in this case. Here I am not changing the value of I. You remember, I am not changing the value of I. I am just printing this value in this percentage. So it will be enter the number 1. Now I am scanning one element. Let us say that I am scanning 6 point. Again making a mistake here. Just a moment. So in this case, array element, let us say that I am entering 6.5. There is some network issue again. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. There's some issue. Okay, I have entered 5, and then I am entering the first element as 6.5. Okay. Please switch off the mic, whoever is on. And
Sorry, sir.
So it will again go back with I equal to 1. it will say enter number 2, because I plus 1 I am always printing. This is just a prompted number. Okay, this is just a prompted number. So you remember, we are just prompting this. Enter first element of array, enter second element of array, enter third element of array. This is just a printf statement. It is not playing any role in the calculation. Then slowly I am entering some variables, say 5, 4.5, 8.5, and say 4. So it will, we have entered 5 elements, and of course 8.5 is the largest one. But how we are finding the largest one? How we are finding the largest one? The logic of finding the largest one lies here. Okay. So in this, what is happening? Array equal to 1 to less than 1. Now I'll come to, I'll stop. You please find out this logic. You be clear with this logic. I am now, for time being, I am sharing another screen so that I can make you understand the logic again. So can you see the PPT now? Okay, is this PPT visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No,
So
sir.
how we are
Not
going to
yet.
work now? Not here, not yet. It will be because it is now becoming visible. I will. Now is it visible to everyone?
No, sir. I'll just rejoin for that.
Okay, please. Rest can see it. So we'll continue. See, this is the element. These are the elements which we entered. Now we are trying to find out the largest element. What is the largest element in this? I can find out it is 8.5. But how I can locate it? So because computer can understand only one instruction at a time, and we need to make it understand every logic. So what we are doing here, we are thinking that the first element is the largest element. If initially we'll assume that the first element is the largest element. So let us think that 6.5 is the largest element. Now through this, what we are unlike the previous one, this array is starting from 1. This array is actually starting from this element, not from this element, because we have assumed that the first element is itself a largest element. So we are not bothered about this. I know that this is a largest element. I am just comparing whether the second is larger than or not. If it is larger, then the second becomes the largest one. So what will happen in this case? It will now be touching this element, a of 0. A of 0 is our largest element. A of 0 is the largest element right now. Let us name it as L. Okay, A of 0 is our largest element. Now compare A of 0 with A of 1. Compare these two elements. Check out if whether A of 0 is larger or A of 1 is larger. In this case, A of 0 is larger, then there is no change in the largest number. 6.5 is the largest number. Now it will be compared with the next one. It will be compared with the next one. Again, A of 0 is now compared with A of 2. Again, I am finding that the A of 2 is also not the larger number. Then A of 0 remains, 6.5 remains the largest one. Now I compare this element with the third one. In this condition becomes true, where A of 0 is smaller than A of 2. In that case, what we are doing, we are exchanging these two values. 6.5 is not the largest now. I found larger number than that, then 8.5 is the largest one. So I'm just changing it, exchanging them with this. So 8.5 will become the largest number, which is, and what we are doing, largest number we are placing at A of 0. Okay. Now again, in the next step, this number, which is now the changed largest number, is checked with the new number. So 4 is smaller. So A of 0 is now holding the largest number. A of 0 is now holding the largest number. So this is the way the logic of largest number works, or logic of largest numbers all of us know. But this is the way these arrays are handled. Every individual element is compared with all the other elements. In this way, the arrays are handled. That's what I want you people to understand. So, is it clear? Is it clear? Yeah. So this is how you are going to get the output of program with largest number. Let us go back to the screen again. Now, do you have the online program, online screen visible again? I hope it is visible. Now we'll try one another program. So program to find the average of array elements. Program to find average of array elements. Okay. Now you can find that there is a program where again, just like a previous program, we have n and I defined. N will be the number of elements or the size of an array, and I will be the count on which we are going to work on. Okay. See here, float is num is another array which is going to hold, which is capable of holding 100 floats. But again, we are going to enter the size of array. So here, enter the number of elements, and if I am entering any value other than the values between 1 to 100, it is going to generate a error message. Let us try out whether it generates an error message or not. Enter the number of elements. I'll say 110. So it is what it is doing. It is just checking whatever input you have given is falling in the range or not. And if it is not falling in the range, it is asking us to re-enter the number. Again, I'll re-enter the number. I'll enter 250. Again, that while loop is executed, and it is going to force you to enter the number between 1 to 100. Unless until you are entering the correct number, the loop is going to continue. So now I will enter 5, which will be, so now it has accepted the number. It has accepted the number. It will see, and it is now very easy. One by one, it is entering, taking all the values in this for loop. So enter the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are going to enter. So unlike previous case, here 1 is now printed here. So let us say that 6. is the number which I can enter. Second number is 5, 4, 5, 6. So this way, every time we enter a value, the sum will be entered. Every time the value is, I'm entering a value, a sum will be calculated, and that number will be added to the sum. So that the final sum will be divided by number of elements, and I'm going to get the average. So I'm entering here, so I'll be getting the average here. Average as 5.20. Let us make small change here, and we can find out how the things are changing. What I can do here is, I'll write printf sum now is sum is defined as float. That's why I'll take f. Let us see what changes we get here. Okay, sorry, something went wrong. Okay, sum by, and by mistake deleted this thing. Now enter the number of elements. Number of elements are 5, 25. Enter the elements 5. Let us say that enter 25. Sum is 25. Then enter 20. Sum will be 45. So every time whatever number is entered is printed. So I have taken /n, and that's why it is rerun. Enter the elements in. Enter 25. Sum is 25. Enter 20. Sum is 45. Enter 30. Sum will be appearing 75. Enter 20 again, 95. Enter 10 again, 105. And average is 21. So this is the way we are going to calculate the averages. So in this way, the changes, or this way the 1D array works. Now, because of some delays, the time has passed, and one more program will take and will finish. This is a program I've written for finding out the transpose of a matrix. Transpose means when you have elements, whatever elements are there in a row will appear in the column, and whatever are there in the column, they will appear in the row. That is transpose of a matrix, and you know it very well. So here we are taking help of two matrices. One will be the input matrix, another will be the transpose matrix, the output matrix. That's why we are taking two matrices, matrix A and matrix B. In this case, what we are doing, we are initializing them by 10 by 10, means 10 rows and 10 maximum 10 columns it can take, and so the resultant output should be of the same size. And there are different number of variables we are taking, where R will be the number of rows in the input table, or input matrix or input array. C will be number of columns. I and J will be the counters. So here you can see, again I said it can have maximum 10 rows and maximum 10 columns. That's why we'll enter row and column as R and C. The range should be between 1 to 10. So and then we can enter the matrix with a simple scanf statement. and now here we are proposing the transpose. Okay, this is the entered matrix. This is the we enter matrix. The entered matrix is printed, and then see here. This is the simple logic of transpose. Say an element in second row and third column will become an element in uh, third row and second column. This is what transpose is there. So ij element will become ji element. That's why transpose ji is equal to a of ij. So this is a very simple logic of transpose, getting a transpose of an element. So let us say that what will be the output. Every time you get an error, the error is clearly prompting what kind of error is there. You can just go there and find out. So let us say that we'll enter we'll enter 2 rows and 3 columns. So now enter all the elements. Element 1 1. Element 1 1, let us say that it is 5. Element 1 2 6. Element 1 3 7. This is the first row and 3 members in that. Then another one 8 1 2. So this is the second row, 3 columns. This is your entered matrix 5 6 7 8 1 2, and this is your, you can see that this row has become a column here. This row has become the column in this case. So you can say that this element which is at, say, which is the element which is 0 1 has now become 1 0. So the column and row numbers are exchanged. So this is the way we can find out the transpose. Okay, and one more program is there, which is program to find out sum of 2 matrices, where we'll be adding 2 matrices. So what we'll do is I will post this in Moodle. You people will go through that, and what is your assignment? The program is there. Program for adding 2 matrices. Program for adding 2 matrices are there. The first element is 1 1 element is added with 1 1 element of other. It's very simple. So I'll share this in Moodle. Your job, your homework is to modify. First thing is your job is to draw a table, analyze this program, draw a table, and with which every I value, how the j value is changing, and what will be printed and what will be scanned. Means this way you are going to do the table you are going to form. But that means what I want is, I want you to note down every iteration of the for loop. I want you to note down every iteration of the for loop. So for I equal to 0, j becomes 1 2 3, and then it will scan this value, it will print that message. I want a proper tabulation to be done. Okay, analyze that program thoroughly. And second job is now whatever program is there for sum of matrices, it is taking size of 3 3, sorry, size of 2 by 2 matrices. You make it dynamic, just like a previous program. We'll initialize it as a size of 10, a of 10 10, b of 10 10, and c of 10 10, and then we'll decide how many rows should be there, how many columns should be there. Okay, so that dynamism you need to bring in your program. So these are the 2 things you are supposed to do in this break time. Probably in the next lecture or so, from 17th, we are going to follow different timetable, and also we are going to start with practicals. To some extent, we are going to start with practicals which are possible online, like these online compilers, but more complicated practicals we are going to take later. So this is the way you are supposed to work, or this I am expecting that you will be doing this homework. Fine, is it clear? Just prompt me. Is it clear what you are supposed to do as a homework? Fine. One or two people are clear with it. Rest are, I think, not at all active. Are they listening to me? I doubt. Fine. Whatever is there, definitely for every homework you have some marks to be given. That's if it is clear, then it's good. If it is not clear, you should make it clear now. And fine. We'll stop here today. And from next lecture, we are going to learn about a very interesting and important concept in data structure or C, that is pointers. So don't miss out the next few lectures, because we'll have a lot of discussion on pointers and try to understand how to play with pointers. So okay, fine. For today, we can stop here. See you in the next lecture. Anything you have, you can ask me on WhatsApp. Thank you. You can leave the meeting now.
Sir, hello, sir.
Ah,